So once again, you are welcome and good to have you today. I believe others hopefully will join us already. Olasoji and Mercy have decided to join now. So before we continue, can you just tell me what you can still remember from the first lecture? Uh, Either Wuraola, Vivian, Kende, what did we discuss in the first lecture? Just tell me what you can remember. Or what did I say? Why do we need quantitative techniques in linguistics? Why? Why do we need quantitative analysis in linguistics? Are you in the class? Nobody is talking. Nobody is talking. Wuraola, Vivian, Kehinde, Mercy.
Hi, sir. So, from what I remembered, we said that quantitative analysis. So, we're going to be using quantitative method. Please, guys, we're going to be using quantitative method, not qualitative method, which can involve collecting data, um, yeah, defining variables, choosing data, and using. I think you mentioned something about programming errors. So, yeah, so basically, quantitative method, as the title of the course is using quantitative analysis in language.
Okay, Olowu Wuraola, when we say quantitative analysis, what does it entail? What does it entail? Wuraola,
Good evening, sir.
good evening.
Can you hear me, sir? Thank you, sir. Um, to my knowledge, quantitative analysis is when we use mathematical and statistical method to manage a work. Let's say for linguistics now, when we want to use quantitative analysis, we use it to calculate, let's say, the consonants in a language. Now we know the number, so we can make use of quantitative analysis in that case.
Did you go through the summary that I generated after the class?
Yes, sir, I did, sir.
When?
The day we finished the class, sir.
Huh?
When we finished the class, sir.
Ah. Oh, it's always good to have another look shortly before the class. And
Okay, sir.
let me come back to Olusoji. Olusoji, what does it entail when we talk about quantitative analysis in the linguistics?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Quantitative analysis in linguistics is when we use numbers and
Mhm,
statistics
mhm.
to work with language, to understand language, and enable us to analyze linguistic data in numerical forms. So this actually helps us to understand, okay, of course it is convincing enough to know that, okay, this is the number of numerical data of people who speak language, who speak this way, who relate this way in this language, who uses the language this way, and all.
That's good. So the key terms or terminologies that I want are, you know, numbers and statistics. Uh, so when you use numbers and statistics to study language, then you are actually doing quantitative analysis. So with numbers and statistics, it's easy for you to measure, language. It's also easy to compare, to look at patterns in language and some other things. So know, you can be able to generate evidence rather than mere statement or assumptions or opinion. So numbers and statistics, help you to be precise. Uh, so you talk quantitatively, and then you are able to compare groups, languages, situations, and then even if you have ideas, opinions, you are now able to scientifically test those ideas and then come up with something that is reproducible, something that uh, can be supported with evidence. So that's it's very important that you know what it means when we talk about quantitative analysis in, the study of languages. So let me share my screen. Except you have any questions, some of you, maybe you are not interested in buying the manual. That's fine. Uh, if you depend only on the lecture video and so on, that's okay. But the manual could also be of help. But you you can decide for yourself. So we've looked at chapter 1, and we compare quantitative approach with a qualitative approach. And we look at three major areas where quantitative methods are applied in linguistics. Uh, Precisely, we talked about the phonetics, where uh, you deal with sounds of speech. We also look at sociolinguistics. It's another field of study in language, uh, which focus on social groups. So quantitative techniques can also be applied. That area. And the third area is psycholinguistics. This is an area that explores how humans process and understand language in the mind. So quantitative analysis can also be applied in that particular area. So we discussed all of that last week, and I believe we've been able to go through those multiple choice questions. And yeah, some of these multiple choice questions, you will be able to attempt them today. So for today, we will be talking about uh, types of linguistics data. Just a minute, just a minute. Uh, I might need to change this particular. It's not. Okay, so for chapter 2, we focus on types of linguistic data. So it's very important that when we talk about linguistic, so when we talk about linguistic data, yes, we can have different types of data. We can talk about financial data, economic data, and so on like that. But we are more interested in linguistic data, which means there are data that are peculiar to the field of to linguistics. And though the data could come in form of words, so you could have them in words. They could come also in numbers. They could come in categories. They could come in durations. They could also come in different, even frequencies. So data can come in these forms, you know, as far as linguistic is concerned. So you could have text data or word, you could have numbers, you could have frequencies, you could have durations, you could have categories. But all these different forms, but before we go, can somebody give me example of a word, uh, you know, linguistic data in words or in text?
So please, I don't understand the question. Like an example of a linguistic data, it can be a sentence, it can also be a document. I don't know if I'm the one not understanding it, sir.
Yeah, I think Prof is no longer with us. I think he has
Oh,
a stable internet
okay.
connection. Okay, let me try to reach out to him so that we can know what. Okay, so based on Prof's last sentence or question, I think what he's trying to ask, in the Jamboard that he shared, he was telling us that data could come in form of categories, in form of numbers, in form of words, and then he also mentioned in form of documents. So I think he was asking the aspect of words, or maybe before we go into that aspect of words, in your Prof is back. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you, Oni.
Yes.
So, sorry, it was a network disruption. Yes, let's continue. I see that Kafayat is now with us.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
So, we are back, and I was asking a question before we had that internet disruption. Who can give me example of linguistic data in words?
Hello, sir.
Okay, Kende.
I think data here are things that we use in doing our own research, and it could be a particular language, a dialect, or some set of sounds, in my own opinion, sir. That is what I think.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
It's even your opinion that I need, which is good. So it could come in different forms. You could have you could have make a sentence, and you could be interested in the number of vowels in a word, or number of words in a sentence, uh, and so on, like and so forth. So if we look at some Yoruba names, for instance, or some Igbo names, for instance, you could be interested in looking at syllables, in those names, and so on. So you could generate data from there. If you have text document, you may also generate data from there. If you have voice document, you could also generate data from there. So as long as it's all about language. So we are going to look at different data that one can possibly come across in linguistics. Just a minute, let me be sure that this, okay. I want to be sure that, okay, so that the Gemini is helping us to do the transcription and generate the summary at the end of the lecture. So that takes us to the four main types of data in linguistics. So particularly in quantitative linguistics. So there are four of them. One, nominal. Two, ordinal. Three, interval. And four, ratio. So all linguistic data can be classified into any of these four main areas. So there is no fifth one. So when do we say linguistic data is nominal? When do we say linguistic data is ordinal, or interval, or ratio? So in this lecture, we are going to take them one at a time. So we will start with the nominal data, and then look at its attributes and look at the examples of this kind of data, so that anytime we see data possessing that attribute, we can classify them as nominal. The reason why it's very important for us to know the type of data we are handling when we are doing quantitative analysis is that knowing the type will help you to know the type of analysis that you can perform. So the analysis you can perform on nominal, you may not be able to perform that kind of analysis on ordinal. Same with interval and same with ratio. So statistical analysis depend on the type of data that we have. So the starting point is to know what type of data you have. And that will then help you to know the type of analysis suitable or most appropriate for that analysis, for analyzing that data. So we are not just grouping them or just categorizing linguistic data for the sake of it, but rather because when we want to analyze the data, we want to be able to choose the appropriate analysis for the data. So for nominal data, we usually call them the lowest level of measurement. If ask all of you now in this data to type the language you speak. So if I say language, so if I say type the language spoken by you, or if I even make it much harder, if I say language spoken by your grandmother, what language? So I can have name, I can have name. Sorry, this pen seems to be failing. So I can have name. Sorry, still I'm trying to make the okay. Sorry, is the pen that is not right? Okay, so I think it's ready to write now. So if I have the name of the first person, second person, third person, fourth person, fifth person, so and I have the name here and then the language spoken here. Who is going to be the first person? Olasoji. What language did your grandmom speak? Or if she's still speaking?
Yoruba language.
So let's say Yoruba. Who is the second person? Mercy. This is how we are collecting data now, right? Mercy, what language did your grandmom speak? Yes.
Igbo.
Igbo. So I have Igbo. Vivian, I can guess.
Igbo, sir.
Igbo. That's good. Who else is there? Heritage.
Sir, I'm here, sir.
You came late, Heritage.
Sir, má bínú, dáná lọ́wọ́.
You are a perpetual latecomer.
I'm not.
So what language did your grandmom?
I have to. I'm mixed breed, so I'll go with Yoruba.
Yoruba, so.
Yes, sir.
Yoruba. Who else is there? Abdul Rashid. Abdul Rashid. Right? Yes. Huh?
Yoruba, sir, Yoruba.
Yoruba. Kehinde.
Yes, sir. Yoruba language, sir.
Yoruba. Okay.
Yeah.
No outside yet. Olowo. Kolebi house. Kolebi house.
Yoruba, sir. Yoruba, sir.
Okay. So Yoruba. So what you have seen now is a typical example of language data, and is specifically this language spoken is a nominal data. It's a nominal data because it can only take two, as far as this class is concerned, there are only two languages, spoken by the grandmothers. Igbo and Yoruba. So, which means there are only two groups of languages spoken by grandmothers here. So when our data is in categories, and it can take maybe 2, 3, 4, or even more categories, then we say it's nominal. Another example, if I may add, is dialect group. So if I have another variable now, and I ask Ola to, Ola, are you still there? Ola Soji, what dialect group did your grandmom belong? Ijesha, Ijebu.
Akure.
Akure, is Akure a dialect? Okay.
Maybe. Okay. You can't Ekiti then.
Is it Ekiti or who has been? Okay. So let's see.
The dialect, the Akure dialect is close to Ekiti than Ondo dialect.
Okay, so let's say Akure. Mercy, which dialect?
Enugu.
Enugu, is Enugu a dialect?
Yeah, sort of. But we spoke. Yes.
Okay. Vivian, how about you?
Owerri.
Owerri.
Yeah.
Owerri, yeah, that's fine. Heritage.
Sir,
How about
my mother is from Owu, àwọn Ẹ̀gbá.
Egba?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, sir.
Egba. Abdulrasheed.
Oh, yes, sir. I'll say Shaki,
Eh?
Shaki, sir.
Shaki.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Kehinde.
Yes, sir. Ibarapa dialect, sir.
Ibarapa.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if Olowu is still on the call. Okay, so now if I may ask you, how many categories do we now have for dialect group in our data? So dialect group, how many categories?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like 7.
5.
Really?
5, sir.
Yes.
So we have
We have
Akure,
Owerri,
we have Enugu, Owerri,
Akure,
Egba,
yes,
Shaki, Ibarapa.
Enugu.
So we actually have six categories. We have 6 categories. So when we talk about categories, let's take this for instance. The main attribute of category is that you cannot do arithmetic operation on them. You can't add Igbo plus Yoruba. You can't say Igbo plus Yoruba. Just like if you have, for gender, you have male, you have female. If you had, then what would that give you? The addition does not give you anything that is known. So nominal data, you can't perform any arithmetic operation on them. You can't add, you can't multiply, you can't divide, you can only do one thing. As we have done, we can only count. So we can count. So I can form a frequency table for language spoken.
Sorry, sir, I have a
And
question before you go forward.
go on.
So if we say that all these dialects are categories under dialect, and dialect is under nominal, Igbo and Yoruba are categories under language spoken. So the question is, what is language spoken and dialect under nominal? Are they called labels? Like, what are they called? So when we have different sections like that, what are they called under nominal?
Okay, so in statistics, we call them variables. You can, in machine learning, we can also call them labels and so on like that. But for this quantitative analysis, we will call them variables. What do we mean by variables? I think I defined them, maybe not here, because they take different values. Anything that take different values. Language spoken take different values. It could be Yoruba, Igbo, it could be, so it's only taking 2 different values. Dialect group is taking 6 different, possible values. Akure, Enugu, Owerri, Egba, Shaki, Ibarapa. So the language spoken, the dialect group, we refer to them as variables. Do I answer your questions?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
So, in statistics, any phenomenon that take or capable of taking different values. Age, for instance, is a variable because it can take different values, but numerical values. Gender, on the other hand, is a variable, but it can only take two values, male, female, in Nigeria, if I may put that caveat. Or in this class, if I may also just limit to that to our class. So, but if a phenomenon cannot take more than one value, if it cannot take more than one value, then it's constant. We say it's constant. For instance, if I talk about the number months in year 2000, how many months did we have in year 2000? Who can tell me?
12 months, sir.
Were you alive then?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we had 12 months. In year 2001, how many months? Yeah, 12 months. So if you, up to 2024, last year, you will see that it's constant, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12. So we cannot call that variable. So number of months in a year is constant. It doesn't change from year to year. Of course, the number of days and possibly number of weeks and so on, number of days might change, depending on whether leap year or otherwise. So when a phenomenon can take a fixed value, then you say it's constant. But when it takes different values, then you say it's a variable. So language spoken is a variable. Dialect group is also a variable. But when you now look at their possible values, language spoken can only take two values as far as this class is concerned. Dialect group can take 6 different values as far as this class is concerned. So the thing again is that if you go to another class and you collect this data, you might have different reality. So that's why it's a variable. I hope that is clear. Any question before? Yes. Who is responding on behalf of the class? Who is responding?
It is clear, sir.
Very clear. Okay, so the other time also I was talking about if you are talking about what you could be interested in looking at whether the word in your sentence is a verb, is a noun, is an adjective. So you might want to look at the part of speech of the words. And you can also create data from there. and so on and so forth like that. But as I said, you can only count. So if you have the variable which is language spoken, which could be Igbo, sorry, Yoruba. Then we can have another table which should be count. Let me create another page. So you have okay. So you have the language spoken. So Igbo, Yoruba, and then we have the count. So which will tell us for Igbo, how many cases, how many times, or how many times did Igbo appear in our data? Who is telling me?
2, sir.
Twice.
2. So which means you have 2. For Yoruba, how many times? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can say I have 5. So total is equals to 7. So it's easy for me to describe the language spoken by the grandmothers here and say, for this class, majority of the grandmothers, or 5 out of 7 grandmothers spoke Yoruba, and 2 spoke Igbo. With this count is also what we normally would also refer to it as the frequency. The frequency, which is how often a particular, category or a particular label, appears in the data. And from frequency, you can also calculate percentages. So we can now calculate percentage here. 2 out of 7 times 100 over 1. 5 out of 7 times 100 over 1. That gives you the percentage. So in essence, for nominal data, the common statistical summaries that you can generate are: 1, you can count; you can 2, you can get total; you can get frequency, count of frequencies. You can also get percentages. So other than that, you may not be able to do much, but you will also learn later that from count data, all these are what I call the summary statistics. But we will go beyond summary statistics to statistical tests. So there are some statistical tests that are only applicable uh, to nominal data. And in that case, we have the chi-square. So we are not going to talk much about chi-square. Most of you are probably hearing it for the first time. But what do we use it to do? We use it to test if categories are distributed differently across groups. So even though you have two groups here, Igbo, Yoruba, statistical tests can be conducted because this data we all agree that is taken from is a sample taken from the population. So we might want to test whether the proportion is the same in the population, whether the proportion of grandmothers who spoke Igbo is the same as the proportion of grandmothers who spoke Yoruba in the population. So we use statistical tests for that purpose. And chi-square is used when we are dealing with nominal data, when we are dealing with categories. So that's how much we will talk about, nominal data. First, you must be able to
Okay, guys, I think Prof's internet connection has failed again. So maybe we should just do a form of recap with what Prof is currently teaching us while we are still waiting for him. Okay, so I think Prof was talking about nominal data before the internet at its end became unfavorable. Prof is back.
Thank you. Sorry.
Oh, welcome back, sir.
Thank you. I'm actually outside the campus, so and the light is just going on and off here. So let's go back to where we stopped. Let me share my screen again. So I was going to summarize the discussion on the nominal data. That one, you should be able to define it as having categories or labels, without order or ranking. You will notice that in the categories, in the labels, Igbo, Yoruba, there is no order. One is not greater than the other. No, one is not, they are both on the same level. So Akure, Enugu, Owerri, they are all, that's very important in nominal data. And then two, you cannot add the labels. You can't see Akure plus Enugu. So know those basic attributes about the nominal data. And be able to give examples, as I've given here, language spoken, dialect group, word category, gender, and all of that. And then what kind of analysis can you do with nominal data? You can only count, or you find percentages. So when it comes to charts, you can create a chart like bar chart and say, yes, this bar is for Igbo, this bar is for Yoruba. So you have 2 here, you have 5 here. So this is Igbo, which is simply showing the bar is simply showing the frequency. So this one is for Yoruba. So those are things you need to know. Let's now go to the other type of linguistic data. This time around, it is ordinal. Ordinal. And so we'll say ordinal data. So for ordinal data, is much higher is slightly higher than ordinal, because in ordinal you have group 1, group 2, like Yoruba, Igbo, but the groups are not ordered. They are not ranked. In other words, if this is Igbo, this is Yoruba, then any of them can come first, any of them can come last. So there is no order. If we are talking of gender, so if you have gender and you have male, female, I could as well have female, male. No, so the categories are not ranked, no ranking, no ordering. But in ordinal, 1, there are still categories, so we can still talk about categories. Can still talk about categories or labels. 2, which makes it higher than nominal. You are now going to have ranking or ordering. So we can say one category is higher than the other category, but the distance between them may not be what is important to us, or may not be the same, or may not even be known. That is the, that's the main issue as far as the ordinal is concerned. And let me give you an example. If you are talking about language proficiency, so let's say we have serial number, name, and then language proficiency. We have the first person. As usual, you are going to tell me your proficiency in French. You will tell me your proficiency. So our concern now is French, or I may also maybe make it a bit friendly. Pidgin English, not just English, Pidgin English. So, who is the first person? Olasoji. So, proficiency.
Intermediate. Intermediate.
So, this pen is usually misbehaving. Okay, I'm coming. Let me get my pen right. So, Soji. Okay. So, Soji, what do you say is your proficiency level in Pidgin English? Soji?
Intermediate. Intermediate.
Intermediate. So let's use I for intermediate. So proficiency level or level of proficiency can be beginner, intermediate, advanced. So beginner, intermediate, advanced. These are the three levels. Number 2, Mercy. Mercy,
Yes, sir.
what's
What's
your
your
proficiency
proficiency
in
in
Pidgin?
pidgin? Maybe advanced.
Maybe
Maybe
advanced.
advanced.
Give
Yes,
me,
sir.
give me one
Give me
sentence.
one second. Okay. Okay, I tell you, sir, I sabi speak pidgin small.
Okay.
Okay.
Clap for
Clap
yourself.
for
Okay, mute
Okay,
yourself.
what else?
Now, Kainde, how about you?
Intermediate, sir.
Intermediate.
Yes, sir.
And who else? Abdul Rashid.
Beginner, sir.
Beginner.
Yeah.
Now, 5. Who is still there? Vivian.
Advanced, sir.
Advanced. Give me one sentence in Pidgin English.
Anything exactly you want me to talk for you. If you talk anything you want me to hear.
Don't do it. Don't do it. You are too much. I don't even feel speak that. Okay, and who else? Heritage.
Beginner, sir.
Wow.
I don't speak at all, so.
Beginner. Okay, so who else? So that Olowu 7.
Intermediate, sir.
Okay, intermediate. Now we have collected our data about the level of proficiency in Pidgin English, among the class members. And one thing we will notice here is that anytime somebody says, "Oh, I'm advanced," and another person says, "I'm a beginner," then you know, anybody listening or hearing knows automatically that one is much higher than the other. Which one is higher than the other? Advanced is higher than beginner. Am I correct?
You are correct, sir. You are correct, sir.
Okay, but the question will be between beginner and intermediate, and between intermediate and advanced. What is the distance between them? Are they equal? So
Not
nobody
equal, sir.
nobody even know. We don't know the no. There is a distance between beginner and intermediate, but that distance is unknown. It's not measured. It's not quantified. Between intermediate and advanced, there is also a distance, but it's not measured. And we cannot say the gap between them, is the same, but we can rank them. We can say beginner is lower than intermediate and intermediate is lower than. So ordinal data are usually characterized by this this kind of attributes. They are categories. So if it's only this, then it's nominal. But when ranking and ordering is added to the categories or labels, then it becomes ordinal. So ordinal is at a much higher level of measurement compared to nominal. So again, we have example like intelligence quotient. People can say high intelligence or low or medium. You can also, most of you are familiar with Likert scale. Strongly agree. How many of you have used that in your survey before? My mind tells me heritage to.
No, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so low. Yes, that's good. What were you trying to evaluate in your survey, Olowo?
Okay, if I was doing my project, I was working on the impact of broken homes on academic performance of students.
Okay.
So I was asking questions and I was asking them to probably, some of the questions I asked was the relationship between their father and their mother in the home, the way they interact, how it affects their academics. So if the way your mom addresses your dad affects the way you take a subject or the way you react, you like speak either strongly agree, disagree, that kind of thing. That's what I did.
So you will say my father or my mother influenced my choice of
action, of behavior in the classroom.
In the classroom. Agree,
Yeah.
strongly agree, Abi?
Disagree. Yes,
Disagree.
disagree.
Aha.
Strongly disagree.
So you can have strongly agree, you can have
Yes.
agree,
Agree.
you can have
Disagree.
neutral, you can have neutral, isn't it?
Yes, yes,
You
sir.
can have disagree, and you can have
And strongly disagree.
strongly disagree. So
Yes, sir.
this is an example of Likert scale, which is considered as an ordinal data. We don't know the distance between strongly agree and agree, and it's not the same as the distance between agree and neutral. So even though they are categories, but at the same time, they are ordered, they are ranked. Strongly agree, depending on, in most cases, you could even use a number for the scaling. So somebody can say from 1 to, so you could have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means you have, but it doesn't mean that the distance between 1 and 2 is 1, that it is the same thing as the distance between 2 and 3. So these numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they merely represent this. So you can't say 2 minus 1, 3 minus 2, 4 minus 3. So no, because they are categories and they merely represent rank. So when we have this type of data, the next question will be, what kind of analysis, what can we do with this kind of data? Yes, everything that we are able to do with nominal data can be done with ordinal data, which means just as we are able to use count in nominal, we can also count in ordinal. We can also use percentages. We can also use bar charts, But in ordinal, we cannot calculate averages like the mean. So we can't find the mean of Yoruba and Igbo. We can't find the mean of male and female. In ordinal, we can't find average, but there is one particular average that we can find, and that is the median. We have, so when we talk about averages, we can have the mean, the arithmetic mean, the median, the mode. None of them is applicable in nominal data. So when we are analyzing, we can't use any of this in nominal data. But in ordinal data, we can only use the median. So even when we talk about strongly agree, neutral, no, disagree, we know that the center is neutral, which is the median. So we can talk about median, which is a measure of average when it comes to the ordinal data. But when it comes to statistical analysis, we won't be able to use chi-square, but there are other statistical tests like Mann-Whitney U-test or Cross-Kawali's test. They are used for ordinal data. But we won't talk much about them for now. When we get to that, when we start discussing test of hypothesis and not statistical test, we will dwell on that. So I want, let me quickly go through the remaining ones before I hand over to Kafayat and Honey. The last two, I'm going to take them together because there is only just small difference between them. Very, very small. So the last two are the interval data and the ratio data. The interval data and the ratio data. So in terms of the level of measurement, interval is higher than ordinal, because in the ordinal, if you recall, there are categories. They are also ordered. So these two. So in addition, interval is in numbers. Is that coming from me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Was it coming from my hand here or from somebody in the class?
From your end, sir.
Sorry. Maybe that's meant for you to have a short break and do some dancing. Were you able to dance? So I was saying that I hope you are still with me. Let me be sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I was saying that when it comes to level of measurement, so the ordinal, the nominal is the lowest. Sometimes this. So the nominal, I'm having problem with my pen. That's why I'm struggling. So the nominal is the lowest, then followed by the ordinal. So followed by the interval. So what I'm saying is that every attribute of ordinal is in ordinal plus the additional attribute of, ordering and ranking. Every attribute of ordinal is in interval plus additional attributes that the value between two intervals are equal. The spacing between two intervals are equal. So in the interval, you have additional attribute of equal spacing. Equal spacing. The only thing that is not there is true zero. So no true zero. No true zero. So, but in the ratio, all these three attributes are in ratio plus the additional attribute of true zero. So then what do we mean by equal spacing? The first thing we need to know is that in the interval data, you are dealing with quantitative. So if you have, let's take this simple example of the Lakert scale. The Lakert scale, instead of using strongly agree, neutral, if I now use Lakert scale from 1 to 5, which means on that scale, there is no zero there. No zero there. And you cannot say zero is the same thing as neutral. No. Neutral simply means you are not willing to take any position. You have no position on that. It doesn't translate to zero. So there is no true zero in the interval scale. But if you look at the spacing between 1 and 2, between 2 and 3, between 3 and 4, between 4 and 5, the spacing are all equal. So this is what we mean in interval. In the ratio scale, every property, all the attributes of the interval will be there, in addition to the fact that there will be true zero. So whenever we say true zero, then the question is, what do we mean? Let me give you example now for ratio, and then I will leave the class. For ratio, let's take example of the frequency count of a word. So if we are the frequency count of a word in a corpus. Let's say you look at the pages of newspaper and you are counting the number of a particular word on the pages. Let's say you are looking for the Super Falcon, or what is that the name of the female football team?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you open the first page, so you count how many times the Super Falcon word appear on that page, right? Now, if you get to a page, yes, thank you, Heritage. If you get to a page, it's possible you don't have any appearance. The word Super Falcon is not appearing. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So what will you record for that page? So maybe you have page 1, there are the word appear 3 times, page 2 maybe 5 times, page 3 4 times, and you now get to page 4, it doesn't appear. So maybe subsequently you have 1. What does that tell? There is a true zero. There is a true zero simply means there is a particular page that word does not exist. So this is the way we when this is what we mean when we talk about true 0 point. If you are talking of human intelligence, you are not likely going to say that you have true 0, because when you say true 0, it means no absolute intelligence. Is it possible for a human being not to even have intelligence at all? Not likely. Huh?
No, sir.
No, so there is no true 0. So it can only, when you have that kind of data, you can classify it as interval data. So in conclusion, for interval and ratio data, you can perform the same type of analysis on them. The same type of analysis can be performed on them. You can do, you can multiply, you can do addition, you can do compose statistical averages, statistical summaries like standard deviations, measure of spread, measure of distance, and so on like that. You can do ANOVA, you can do all different kind of statistical analysis like correlation analysis, regression analysis. You can do all of that in both interval and ratio data. Let me stop here. So Kafayat, are you still there? You can engage them the way you want, either to review what I've discussed or elaborate more, and then Honey will now close the lecture. Any question for me before I leave? Vivian, Heritage, Olusoji, any question for me? No question for me. That means
Very quickly, sir.
okay.
If you have I think you've explained this actually. If you have a particular data, we can some of these types of data methods can be applied to a particular data.
Yeah, the starting point is when you have your data, you need to now decide or look at which category or what type of data do I have before you even think of what analysis should I carry out the data. So when you have that's why we are discussing this particular topic. So you don't go to analysis without first understanding the type of data you have at hand, because it is the type of data that will determine the type of analysis suitable or appropriate for your data. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Kafaya, sorry, I've eaten most of your time.
Yes, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. So, I think let's look at the multiple choice exercise together.
Kafaya, please check the income messages. Thank you.
Okay. Is that Vivian?
Yes, it is Vivian.
Okay, you said we should take the ratio aspect again, right? Okay, let me share my screen. Vivian, are you there?
Yes, I am.
The ratio aspect, right? That's the ratio data.
Yes, I got up to the point where you said that in interval we have equal spacing, but then when you got to ratio part where he was talking about true zero, my network was going off and on there.
Okay. So when it comes to ratio data, there's no zeros. Zeros at times can be arbitrary. No, ratio has equal intervals. I mean, there's a 0 point with equal intervals. Intervals can be, let's say, for example, in this case, we have fundamental frequency, which can be between 0 and 10. In that case, 0 can occur, unlike the interval kind of data. So when we treat the exercise, you get to understand better the aspect of the ratio data type. So let's move on to the exercise. The first exercise they said label each variable as nominal, ordinal, interval, or ratio. So we have A to J. The first one is accent type. So if you like to answer the question, just unmute and go ahead. So accent type in this case, like British, American, Nigerian, and etc. So what kind of data type do you think asset type is?
Nominal.
Nominal data.
Nominal. Who will answer the question?
Heritage.
Heritage, thank you. So why is it nominal?
It's nominal because it shows the types of languages spoken or addressed here.
Okay, basically because we have
yes, and
different categories.
Yes, it shows us 3 categories. Yes, sorry, and
But
it can be counted. Sorry?
Do you say we can be count?
And we can count. And we can count.
Hello, can you say that again?
And we can count.
We can count them.
Yes.
Okay, the major reason here is it is different category.
Okay.
By count, do you mean we can count maybe the accent type variable? We can count how many of these people speak British, how many speak Americans or Nigerians, and is that what you mean?
We can count the accents spoken as a variable.
Okay. Thank you very much, Heritage. And also, there is no order, or is there an order in this case?
No, there's no order.
I'm not dealing with numbers, ratios, or inter. We are dealing with categories, right? Thank you very much, Heritage. So the next one, level of agreement with a statement. For example, strongly agree to. strongly disagree to strongly agree, like we normally have in a questionnaire data. Perhaps you have come across something like this before. And they say the respondent should choose between strongly agree, strongly disagree, disagree, strongly agree, agree, or undecided. So what kind of data type do you think this example for?
Ordinal.
Ordinal, is that? Okay, is that Candy?
Yes. Mercy.
Candy, right?
That is
So what
ordinal.
kind of data type?
It's ordinal, yes.
Okay, it's ordinal. Why
Ordinal.
is it?
Three of us.
Okay, it's ordinal.
Three of us.
Okay, okay. So why is it ordinal? Who wants to tell us why it is ordinal?
All right.
Because
It
it
is
can be
ordinal.
ranked. It can be ranked and ordered. And then it also has all the attributes of nominal. So that's why.
You said it also has the attribute of nominal.
It has the attribute of nominal, which means we can count it, and it can be in categories. It's also ordered or ranked from disagree to that. You get.
Yes, thank you very much. It is ordered. And they also have intervals. But intervals between them in this case are not equal. Somebody wants to say something. Is that Abdurrashid or Olusoji?
Oh, it's Olasoji. I wanted to say, all right, I wanted to say it is ordinal because it is with a meaningful order, although the differences between them are not measurable.
Yes. Yes, thank you very much. That's similar to what Vivian just said as well. Thank you very much, Olasodi, for backing that up. So the next label here, the variable here is number of syllables in a word. So what category of data do you think? Number of syllables for number of syllables. Who wants to help us in this?
I'll say interval.
Why interval?
I would also say interval
Because it's can be numbered, like it has numerical value, right? So because it has all other attributes and it has numerical value.
So do we all agree with this? Number of syllables in a word.
No, I feel like it's nominal.
Okay, why nominal?
Because it has numbers. We can count it. Numbers of syllables. 1, 2, 3. And there's no order in there. So I feel like it's nominal.
Okay, so who else? Who else?
It could be a ratio.
Why? Okay, is that everything? Or Vivian?
Oh, it's messy.
Mercy, you said it could be a ratio, right? Why?
Yeah.
Explain to us. Why?
Okay. Why I think it could be a ratio, honestly, is because it does not certify like the quality. It does not have enough qualities to be a nominal kind of data. It is not ordinal.
Okay.
So I'm thinking maybe it's a ratio.
I think it's interval, Sha. I still think it's interval because when we say syllables in a word, number of syllables. So we have like five syllables in this word. That's giving us numerical value. Do you get? So we can actually add it and all that. Let me just stop here.
Okay, so thank you very much. I think I'll go with Messi in this case. Messi, you said it is ratio, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
I did.
it is ratio. We can count it, and also has in this case can
A
has
0 point.
intervals. What do you say?
Also, it also
Remember,
has a meaningful 0 point.
yes, 0 point is included. Remember when we are talking about interval, 0 points are not included. There are no true zeros, though the interval between the values might be equal, right? But in this case, which is ratio data also has equal intervals, but 0 points are included. And we have other examples which include frequency counts of words, fundamental frequencies, and all of that. For examples, in the case of interval, you can have a Likert scale response between 1 to 10 or 1 to 20, and all of that. Or you can even have a fifth scale. And they also have equal interval spacing. All right. So do we get that?
So this is me legitimately saying that I still don't understand the ratio thing, right?
I don't.
Because
Yeah.
because what I got from interval is that I don't know. So okay, let me ask the question. Is it that in ratio we have everything that interval has with a true 0 points? So say in this case where we are saying that number of syllables. So if I say the word Demi is like 2 syllables, right? Can you like use some sort of example to help me differentiate between interval and ratio so that I will know the point of which we're talking about?
Okay, Vivian, in interval, we can't have a 0 point. But in ratio, we can have a 0 point. When we talk of interval, take for example a Likert scale response. Do you know what we call a Likert scale response?
No, I don't. Now, sorry, Kafaya, you keep saying 0 points. When you say 0 points, what do you mean by 0 points?
A zero value, let me say a zero value. In this case, when we talk of Likert scale response, we convert it to a number. An example is the strongly disagree, agree, strongly agree. You've come across something like that before, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. If you are to convert that scale to a number, then that's what we call a Likert scale. Let's say strongly disagree. I can give that let's say 1. Disagree, I can give let's say 2. Agree 3, then strongly agree 4. Those responses exist, right? Due to, let's say, for example, you have a questionnaire data and the respondents are to pick which of these applies to a particular question they are given. They rather pick each of these in each scenarios, or we can't say we can't rule out any of these response, any of these disagree, agree, strongly agree, in all of this. But when it comes to ratio, for example, let me say, okay, number of syllables in a word, let's say WORD, and we have 1 syllable. Does that mean you can have no syllable? For example, let's say, give me a word that has no syllable.
It's either 1 or 0. It's either 1 or above 1. So even as little as go is, it's a syllable. So either 1. I don't think there's a 0 syllable code.
Sorry, can you say that again?
I don't think there's a
Hello?
0 syllable code. Every word has syllable, either 1 or greater than 1.
Hello?
He
Okay,
said
Miss
that
Annie,
there's no
okay. Miss
monosyllable,
Annie wants to
there's
assist
no
us and should
zero
Miss
syllable.
Annie, please go ahead.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Okay, so the interval scale and the ratio scale can be a bit confusing, but let it not confuse us. The major difference between interval scale and ratio scale is that true 0 point. Interval scale does not have a true 0 point, while ratio scale has a true 0 point. Then the next question is, what is a true 0 point? A true 0 point is when your zero actually means your zero. Like when you know when we were much younger, maybe in primary school, they'll tell us that zero means nothing. So when your zero actually means nothing, that is when you say that your scale has a true 0 point. For example, the ratio where we talked about, okay, Ms. Kapaya stopped sharing her screen. Okay, when we were talking about numbers of syllables. Now, when you have zero, right, it means that there is no syllable. And that's very correct. But you can't have negative. Can you have negative? Vivian, can we have negative syllables, number of syllables?
No, we can't.
Oh, so
But we
that
can't. Sorry to cut in, but we can't also have zero syllable
exactly,
code.
it means nothing. Zero means nothing. So that makes it a ratio scale. But take for instance, I think one of the questions next is temperature. Our temperature now, zero temperature, maybe 0 degrees Celsius, is still a temperature, and it can go below zero. The zero there does not mean no temperature exists. It is cold, and that is still a temperature. You can even go to negative -4, -30 degrees Celsius. That means it does not have a true zero scale. The zero does not mean nothing. It still means something. So another example is our maybe height or weight. When you say something is 0 kg, it means it is weightless. It means there is no weight. So that's a true 0 point. But there are scenarios where your zero still means it still exists. It's just that it's giving you another meaning, and you can even go below zero. That is interval. I hope I've been able to clarify it now.
Perfectly. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Ms. Kafaya,
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Oni. Vivian, I am happy you understand it better now. So can we go ahead? Can I move to the next question now? Can you still see my screen, please? Only confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, so the next one here is frequency of word usage in a corpus. We want to help us with this.
Now, ratio 2.
That's question D. Ratio. Thank you very much.
Ratio.
Who answered that?
Mercy, I think.
Mercy, thank you. So why is the ratio?
Okay, because like we said, it has a meaningful 0 point.
Yeah, exactly.
For example, if we have a corpus, we can like count the amount of words that is there, and it's also possible that we can look for a certain word and not find it. It will be 0.
Exactly. That's it. Thank you very much. So the next one here, I hope everyone understands that point. The next one is sentence acceptability rating on a scale from 1 to 7.
Interval. I think interval.
That's interval. It's interval.
Okay.
Who wants to help us with this?
I'll go with interval because it has no 0 point. It has an equal spacing.
That's wrong.
Yes, and it can be quantitative. We have the sentence acceptability rating from 1 to 7. And so if we were going to use, yes, please.
Yes, you said you will go with interval.
Yes, please.
Because it has
equal spacing. It has no 0 value or 0 point. And if we use the, I've been trying to figure out what name you guys have been calling that scale. Is it Lacarte? Or what?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and if we
Okay.
use the Lacarte,
a rating scale can be Likert. And in this case, the values are for that. But intervals may not be necessarily equal. So do you think interval is still best for this?
Yes, I think so. Because if I use the Likert scale, I can say from 1 to 2, from 2 to 3, from 3 to 4. That's why I think you give me
in this case, ordinal is best because
right.
It is ordered. Yeah. The values are ordered. No, when we talk of intervals or ratios, that's where the zeros or no zero true point comes in. But in this case, we are talking about ordered values on a scale of 1 to 7. And that's where the ordinal comes in. So the next one, as we start, the phoneme type P, B, C, and D. So what type of data do you think this is for? That's question F. Is it that nominal or ordinal? So which one is best?
Nominal.
Nominal, yes, because they are categories and they have no order. So speaker's height in centimeter. That's question G. Is it that ratio or interval?
Interval.
Why is it interval?
Wait, speaker's height in centimeter. Because it does not have true zero. Okay, it can either be 0 centimeter. Okay, let me go ratio.
Yeah, because can has a true zero. Even though it's a continuous measurement, can has a true zero. So it's best described as a ratio. So the next one is age of language learners. This is also ratio. Speaker's height is also the same thing as age. They are continuous measurements and they can have a true zero or equal intervals. So the next one, temperature in degrees Celsius during a recording session. Ask question I.
I'm sorry.
Is it that ratio or interval?
Did you say H is ratio data?
Yes, age is ratio.
Okay.
So temperature in degrees Celsius, is it ratio or interval? Of course, it's
interval.
What do you say?
Ratio.
Hello, who is talking?
Messi said ratio, I said interval because it can go lower than 0.
Yeah.
So this is interval. This is interval. It has no true zero. 0 Celsius can be arbitrary. So question, the next one is rank of most used languages in a religion. For example, first, second,
Ordinal.
third. Ordinal because ranking implies. And the interval between them might not necessarily equal. So thank you very much. Because of our time, we stop here for now. And I would like that you treat the rest of the exercise at home at your leisure time. So thank you very much. Miss Oni, are you there so that I can wrap up the class with us?
Okay, I'm there, but
Tony,
are we
are
still
you
doing multiple choice? Are we still doing the multiple choice questions? Because I think our time is fine.
Prof said we should do it, but we're out of time. I don't know if you can still take it or I don't know.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Oh, I think some people want to go already.
Yeah, someone like Vivian.
Yeah,
Vivian wants to go.
I'm presently on the road. I have to get home, and I can't, be in two places at the same time. I deliberately waited till 6 to leave where I am.
Okay, then probably maybe next week we can treat the multiple choice questions together. So Ms. Kafaya, please take note so that we can manage the time.
Thank you so much. I love you.
All right. So are there any questions from today's class?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. So let's round up the class. Thank you very much. So don't forget that we have machine learning on Thursday, 4 p.m. as well. All right. Yeah.
For Thursday, I will let you know because I might be on the road by that time.
Sir.
So
all right.
It's either Kafayat and Honey take the class, or we take it much earlier, maybe very early in the morning. I will look at the possibilities.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
All right. All right. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yes, you too.
Bye.
iPad. iPad. Much more academic. And you just feel online.